I feel great about striking.
You feel great.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So it's just me that is super overly stressed out.
It's like when they first introduced
Improv.
Pluto. This is just for fun, man.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 11 of RPGs Anonymous. Just want to get out in front of it right here. I'm Zachary, your GM. This is going to be a little bit different of an episode. We are missing our Steve Stevenson, Tyke the Mystical, with some real life stuff. So we're going to do some world building, some cool little stuff, some details about all the stuff. So the next person to introduce yourself, take it away.
Hey, I'm Aaron. I'm playing Carl Nelson, and today I'll be playing Associates of Carl. Wondering why?
I'm Colby, normally playing Shane Goose Bailey, and I'll be a mishmash of people.
I'm Nick. I normally play Dr. Zed and Barazel, but today I'll be playing Ajax, the standard poodle, and others.
So mysterious, so mysterious. Yes. So today we start out back where we were last episode. We're in a small clearing with a tent and like bunker set up. This like sort of dark brooding area where Goose has set up to be a go area, like an escape area. And we see our four boys and Fitz sitting around mid argument, would you call it? I'd call it an argument, kind of.
Discussion.
Impassioned discussion.
Yes.
Impassioned discussion.
So we see all of them, and we see the messages come in on Fitz's computer from Dan. I think he said, Tyke was right about everything. This is Dan, by the way. Fitz, where are you? And Fitz turns the laptop towards the rest of you, like, how do you explain this? And we see the facial expressions of all of the guys before we cut away. What is those of you that aren't Tyke, how are you reacting to this message?
I think Dr. Zed's a little shocked. He has a shocked look on his face and not really sure what to believe. He knew that Tyke had some really weird techno psychic powers, and now they've kind of come to life.
I've got sunglasses on, so this is just a blank face stare because I already think Fitz is possibly in on this, and the sunglasses can totally hide the eyeballs that are just slightly larger than they should be.
Right. What about Goose?
I think Goose is very suspicious of the computer and just keeps looking back down at it.
All right. So we go through all these split second facial expression reactions, and we settle on Tyke Steve Stevenson, who has the smuggest look on his face. Very satisfying looking. And then we are going to cut. We cut back to a moment, just a few hours ago, actually, where that smugness that Tyke has sort of got him in trouble. So we see the scene again of the guys standing in an office building, Goose pointing a gun at Dan, the IS Corp training AI, as we have come to learn. And then Tyke tells him to turn the turrets off, and they both collapse. Dan's form sort of fizzles out and artifacts and distorts and does all this weird stuff and then disappears. And we go back sort of into this mainframe-esque interpretation of the inside of a computer, like a server or something, and it's just blank space with all of these information going around. Like, you can tell there are like lines of code and binary and stuff like that. These like visual interpretations of what we expect a virtual space to look like. And we sort of like focus on Dan And we hear the thought ring out from Dan, God damn, this polo is uncomfortable. And then his eyes open up and he starts looking through this like blank virtual space, trying to make sense of what's going on. You see a lot of confusion on his face. And then he sort of raises a hand and says, what is going on? And then sort of like wipes his hand and a UI appears. Something like a web browser, like you might expect. And we see him like look a little bit more confusedly, and he says, I need different clothes. And there's some like typing, and you see like hundreds of thousands of these websites, like fashion websites, clothing design, virtual shops, all of this stuff starts streaming by his face, and you see just his face is flashing with these like lights. He eventually settles on a few, and we sort of like see him as he like looks down and he snaps, and all of a sudden he is wearing a deep pink V-neck, tight jeans, and sandals, and his hair pulls back into a man bun. And he sort of gives a little like a little smirk and says, "That's better." And then we're going to cut again to another familiar place, a school that we've come to know relatively well. In the school gymnasium of what was it, Aaron? It was
Garfield High School.
Garfield High School. That's right. Okay. In the school gymnasium of Garfield High School, they have the bleachers pulled out. There is a large crowd of people around the outside of the door, and in the back area of the gymnasium, there's like a stage and a podium set up, and there is a man standing at that podium about to address the crowd. Do you want to describe this person for us?
Oh, yes. Charles Hunter. He's going to be your clean-cut, almost wannabe politician type. He's going to have a nice shiny tie, linen shirt, very clean-cut suit that has actually been tailored to fit him. He looks very, very publicly oriented.
Or almost a politician-like, might you say?
Yep, politician wannabe. It looks like maybe that principal of this high school may be the stepping stone to city council, possibly.
Yeah, all right. So I think, and behind him, I think we see a few more people sitting at like a long table area that are sort of like kind of dressed in the same way. They have like papers in front of them and maybe like the nameplate things. And I think one of them like pounds a gavel and says, board meeting in order. And then sort of gestures to you to speak.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. This has been a horrendous day, and this meeting was called into progression so rapidly, but we have to deal with the situation at hand as it stands. Yesterday, the world has seen collaptic changes across the world, and we had our own here at the school, and we have to decide what to do about them. In order to make
How are
this,
you going to keep our kids safe?
In order to keep this as similarly, oh boy, the words are just so hard. In order to keep this in some sort of semblance of order, I'm going to try and answer your questions as you has them. If you can please just bring your questions up in written form to the Secretary Carol at the end, she'll be happy to get them to me and I can actually read through them. How are we going to keep your kids safe? For now, the schools have been in lockdown. That is a citywide mandate, possibly statewide. We're having a hard time getting communication with the Education Council across the state of Oregon. So we're kind of on our own in the Garfield district, Garfield Jefferson district, the joint schools. Anyways, the internal conflicts aside, how we're keeping the children safe is by keeping them at home for now until we can guarantee their safety. The conflict of yesterday and the very publicly viewed interruption of our facilities are definitely not something we want to espouse across the general world and let the public know. If you have questions, you can really just get them to Carol. That's really how we need to deal with it.
Oh, here. This is the first written one.
Oh, sorry, Carol. I was too busy looking out and didn't notice you coming up. Go ahead and just read it to me.
It says, what's gonna be done with that gym teacher in the video?
Yeah. Carl Nelson. Carl Nelson is
Carl.
Carl Nelson was a physical education teacher here at Garfield High School. The board has seen necessary to terminate Carl's contract with the school as of 9 a.m. this morning due to his actions in the school.
Terminate what? Did you see that video?
His actions. His actions in the field outside the high school during.
For him.
Yes, actually,
you think
two children.
Emo kid's gonna be able to outrun that thing?
Two children did die.
Crap.
Yes, children could have been hurt gravely, and from what we were able to tell, Carl's involvement in that did directly involve the two deceased children that we have had, and this leads the board to recommend Carl's termination, and we're going to proceed that way. Since we haven't heard from Carl, we haven't been able to actually get him to sign the legal paperwork.
So I think
we're not.
I think someone's gonna actually approach. That's probably not how this normally goes, but I think somebody is gonna actually approach up here. That is maybe they're a little bit off-putting enough that like it sort of is let go. Who do you guys think this is?
I think this is one of the other teachers.
Okay.
Like a teacher that's borderline ready to retire, and so like they haven't fired them because they have tenure, but they want to fire this person.
Okay. I think what we see is this older gentleman, by older I think I mean like 60s probably. And he's wearing one of those tan blazers that have the elbow pads and everything, and he's moving maybe in 70s. He's moving slowly enough. He's old enough that he is seems to be like relatively, a little bit decrepit. And he sort of goes up and he says, "Now I'm not on the board anymore, but can I speak?"
Yes, Mr. Scott, absolutely. We would not deny you any words of wisdom that you could definitely perceive on this situation.
Now look, Hunter. Me and that man, we didn't get along. I got no love for that. Well, he's worse than I am, all right? I'm a bit of a sourpuss around here. People don't like me. I know. I'm leaving soon. Trust me.
Can you give me a dexterity check to see if you dodge the shoe that gets flung at you?
He super doesn't. Like the shoe comes flying up, and it's like a Converse, so it's not like gonna really hurt him, but it like hits him. He's like, "All right, I know that was you, Jimmy. You still have to deal with 6 more months of class with me when we're done with all this thing. You just chill. Now,
can I have my shoe back?
No, it's my shoe now." He like leans over and picks it up and like hugs it under his arm. "You'll get this back when you can pass a damn test." I'm sorry. Shouldn't have said damn.
Jeffrey, please continue.
Okay. Now, again, I got no love for that man. He's been here too long, if you ask me. And on any other day, I would have said yes. Let's get rid of him. He's apathetic. He doesn't care. He puts...
Exactly.
My grandkids showed me that video, though.
That's unfortunate. It spread around the world like wildfire, and it puts Garfield in a bad state of public eye.
It might
you mean that video that showed him saving your kids?
Exactly. Jimmy, you shut up. It put Garfield in a bad spot, but it put Carl Nelson in a good spot. You get rid of that man right now, and it's going to be even worse for you. All right? Now, I think you should rethink that decision. That's all I have to say. And he turns back around and sort of like tosses the shoe off back into the crowd, and will go like sit down.
Well, Jeffrey, your words of wisdom are definitely going to be taken into account. Unfortunately, we've already rendered the paperwork in motion, so we're just going to have to continue our attempts to contact Carl and get him to sign the legal paperwork, and we can make sure this all goes away quietly and the state doesn't look badly upon our involvement in a public situation such as this. We definitely don't want to bring any ire to the
sorry.
the city. Yes.
Yeah, this one isn't a question. I was just informed that you were parked in a tow-away zone.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't parked in a tow-away zone. Are you sure they're talking about my car?
Yeah, you drive that the silver 2018 BMW?
Well, of course, and it's always in my stall. It's got the little placard that says "Principal" in front of it. I would not park anywhere else, Carol. That seems like that would be out of hand. Anyways, let's
At
go.
this point, the football team walks in, chanting, "What do we want, Carl? When do we want him? Now."
Oh.
We put the principal's car in a tow-away zone. You better go catch it.
Carol, could you definitely just call the tow company and tell them there is no problem here? It's just not something that's going to have to be dealt with right now. We're in a very important council meeting, and it's just an improper phone call. Now then, young men, please just stop. Stop chanting. Okay, fine. I'll just wait.
I think
Coach
at this
Carl
moment
rules.
we see the football team like chanting, we want Carl back, all this stuff. We just see the principal just looking, he's just waiting for unruly kids to figure their shit out, and sort of like looking exasperated. And I think from the back of the room,
I'll tell you what, if you want Carl back, find Carl and have him come talk to us. Maybe that'll help. Really? Go ahead.
From the back of the room, someone that I don't think the audience noticed when we first saw this, sort of comes up to the principal. It's a person, very businesslike, wearing a suit with a blazer with just a very small bit of writing on the breast pocket. And they come up and they whisper something into the principal's ear. This person, the writing says IS Corp. And they whisper something into the principal's ear. What do we think he's whispering into his ear?
I think that's impossible. He has currently signed a non-disclosure agreement with IS Corp and will not be allowed to make public appearances for the foreseeable future.
What do you mean, IS Corp? How can that be possible? There's
Sir,
no way he would have signed that with IS Corp. He's not that much. He's got no
It'll all make
backbone.
sense if you just look right here on my pin, and then I'll go off in your face.
Oh my god, are you trying to do the Men in Black flashy thing?
He just did with IS Corp.
Oh my god. Okay.
So Carl's fine?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there was some gas in Venus. It was crazy.
Okay, so I think all right. Okay. This is insane. Guys. I think oh my god, this is insane.
I think the camera fades to black.
Okay, so yeah, I think
Can the camera just fade to Carol?
yeah.
She's just like arguing on the phone with the towing person.
Yeah, and we see this happen with the principal, the football team chanting, and yeah, we will fade to black, and I think actually no, that's we don't fade to black. We fade to the edges of the screen, fade to black, and the corners of it sort of move away from us, and it sort of takes on this holographic quality. and we look back and we see Dan sitting in that nebulous electronic space watching this go down from a camera, and you see him frown. And he pulls up a few things. He watches the video of Carl saving some kids with the football post. He pulls up some IS Corp footage, looks up some IS Corp stuff, and we just sort of see him like tense up and look really disturbed almost by what he's seeing. And then we're gonna cut away. I think now we are going to go to a Portland apartment. I think we've seen this apartment before, just a little bit though, in passing. When Zed returned home to see his siblings, we saw a little bit of this. So I think what's going on here is his siblings are doing something that has their attention focused. What is that, Zed?
So I think first of all, his brother. I can't believe I'm blanking on the name right now. Obi. His brother Obi is
name.
like. Huh?
I forgot your own brother's name.
Yeah, sorry. There's so many of them. So Obi is sitting at the kitchen table, and Obi's trying to like figure out how to pay bills without Zed's income, because if Zed's not working, like they're not getting free food from some of his clients. They're not getting like groceries that are normally donated, or the little bit of money that he actually gets in. So Obi's like stressing over the bills, and I think Rachel is like in the living room, just like flipping through the news channels, and everything is talking about these horrors and what they're doing to society at large.
I think she from the living room she hears like whining from Zed's room. Your normal.
Oh, perfect, dude!
Of course, I am just that good, So she hears whining and some barking, and I think she turns up the TV to like cover it up. And then we sort of like follow the whining and barking as it fades under the TV into Zed's room, and we see Ajax the poodle. Do you want to describe Ajax for us?
Yeah, so Ajax is a running dog. This is a dog that usually runs with Zed while Zed's on his bike. They get a lot of exercise. He does have like a massive like poodle top knot, and then he's got like the standard poodle cut where he's got like the little bunches around his wrists and elbows and knees, and then like on the back part, and then the rest is just kind of like shaved down. And Ajax, being a standard poodle, is pretty big. He's kind of tall for a dog, probably comes up to like just over most people's waists. And he's just pure black.
Okay. I want to know, by virtue of what the room looks like right now, I want to know how well behaved Ajax is. Is he the kind of dog that would have destroyed stuff at this point, or? Yeah,
so unfortunately, being a dog that gets a lot of exercise and like gets to go out all the time and run through like city parks, he has been like just tearing up the room. He's pooped in Zed's shoes to show that he's displeased with being ignored. He has like tore up the bed. The bed is all torn up. Yeah, he gets like free grooming like 3 times a week. So like it's weird for him to not be out and about with Zed all week.
I forgot the sister's name.
Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah, it's Rachel. Yeah.
And I think there's this big gouge in the wall next to the door where Ajax has just been scratching constantly, and probably next to the window as well. I think there's just like this big gouge, like over a day of just like almost straight like scratching. And Ajax is whining definitely. What does he do?
So Ajax is a clever boy, and so he has figured out that this is just drywall, and it can be torn apart. So he
Ajax's
has, like,
middle name is Kyle.
So through the door. Rachel, good God, can you please do something with that damn dog? I'm trying to figure out the bills. We have something to do.
and they hear like this furious scratching as his two paws are just digging into this drywall. And I would say this goes on for maybe 10 minutes. Rachel's just like zoning out, not paying attention. And suddenly they hear a thump as Ajax backs up and charges through the wall. And now there's like just drywall everywhere. There's insulation on the floor. And Ajax is standing in the hallway wagging his tail.
I think Rachel sees this and she just stands up and she starts like, "What the hell are you doing, you idiot dog? Can't you tell
Rachel, what the hell are you doing? You're supposed to take him out of here by
I'm
now.
watching the news, okay? Could you, whatever.
I'm doing the bills.
Fine. I'll just
I don't even know what half these bills are.
You know what? All right, I'll take him out. And she sort of like goes over and, like,
Finally.
a little bit too roughly, probably grabs Ajax and goes outside, slams the door, and is like, "All right, do your business." And I think she like pulls out her phone and immediately opens up like UsTube and starts like looking through stuff. So Ajax, I think, is probably accustomed to being on a leash. Is that true?
Yep, so he's always on a leash.
We're in the common area of the apartments.
I think
Yeah.
they're in like a common area. So she like took him outside, and now he like basically let him go, and she's like walking slowly behind him on her phone.
Yeah. I think, is somebody knocking?
Is that, where's that a knock to, Colby?
Yeah, you gotta explain that one. Which door?
The front door.
The front door from the. Oh, okay.
Obi's front door.
Okay, so Obi has to go answer the door.
Yeah, fine. What? Rip the door open.
You open it and see the landlord.
Oh, God.
Hi. How are you today?
Some of your neighbors made another noise complaint.
I think
I wasn't aware that we had another noise complaint. Did you speak with Rachel the first time? I didn't know there was any such a thing, sir.
No, talk to Dr. Zed.
Oh,
You tell them to shut their damn dog up.
sorry, Mrs. Jackson. I will definitely do that next. Oh, okay. You spoke with Zed? When?
I don't know. Last one happened a few weeks ago, I think it was. Is that a hole in your wall?
Yeah. Rachel fell down.
Is that a hole in my wall?
Oh, Rachel fell while she was doing her hair, so we're definitely going to get that looked at tomorrow. It's probably the noise you heard. I don't think it was the dog, honestly, sir.
I think the phone rings right. I think Obi's phone.
Oh,
like,
son
cell
of a
phone rings
bitch.
right now. And I think it is. It has to be like.
I have to get that,
Officer
sir.
friendly.
Oh yes. Oh, perfect. It's officer friendly.
We'll deal with the noise. I'll be right there. I'm sorry. I got the just. We'll definitely drywall. Rachel's got the dog. It wasn't the dog. Door close.
And we cut back to Rachel, I think. as she's just on her phone, and like we see, obviously because we're the audience, we see her going through, she's watching a video, like an IS Corp propaganda video of the IS Corp team like taking down some of these horrors, doing some stuff, and she just has this like kind of half horrified look on her face. She keeps like going through a few of these types of videos, like just taking in as much news as humanly possible. And I think we have this like outward scene at right after that of her and Ajax is just getting very slowly farther and farther away on the sidewalk. And I think we come to a corner and she's like half a block away, and Ajax, what does Ajax do?
Ajax is like sniffing the ground, and like they don't live too far from, like they're within bicycle distance of the clinic.
Yeah.
And so Ajax is going to suddenly like perk up his ears and like sniff around, like realize, oh, I'm close to work, it's time to go to work, it's a Thursday or a Friday.
Yeah.
And so he just takes off and
Yeah.
starts running towards the clinic.
Starts like running.
Puppy, can I pet it?
Yeah, you like run like past this woman and her child reaching towards the puppy. Ajax just wagging away and running along.
And then on the back corner you've got low pants, shiny shoe, hat on backwards. Hey girl, what's up?
And then I think we like a block later she passes like a police car, and you hear Rex Friendly's voice saying, "Look, Obi, I just don't know where he is. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm really worried." And then like that fades into the distance also.
Yeah, if we don't get some to
and then I think there are a few more things like this we go through, and then Ajax, you arrive at the clinic. The clinic is as the audience we see the clinic is still pretty well and truly destroyed.
Pieces.
Yeah, in pieces. Nobody's really done anything to it because this was Zed's baby and Zed's been busy. And like there are people around like cleaning up other bits. Like I think there's also maybe like I think in just the few seconds that Ajax is there, right away, we see like somebody come up and like look around and knock and say, "Dr. Zed, are you there?" And I think we see, yeah. Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, somebody comes up. There's this woman in like a light blue sundress, with like flower bits on it. And she has. Go ahead.
I think that's going to have to be the groomer.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, she has a cast on her left arm. And she says, "Oh my gosh, Ajax, what are you doing here?" And she'll like come up and scritch you a little bit.
Oh yeah, he likes that. He like starts like, he's been ignored for like 24 hours. So
yeah. So I think she's like, "Oh, where is Zed? What is going on with him? I would have thought he would have been here today. I came by. I obviously can't do any grooming because my arm's a little bit, but I was going to see if he could check it out, and we could get you all groomed up for next week." And she keeps scritching you the whole time.
Yeah, he's like all into it. And then like when he hears Zed's name, he like starts to whine and like goes into the clinic.
Oh, is he here? Okay, and I think she'll follow you into the clinic. Why don't you like lay this out for me? Like, what does this look like inside?
Yeah. So like we know that they blew out the outer wall when Barazel and the monster were like fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But we also had like the transformation sequence that happened in like the little waiting area. So there's like a massive like blood stain from where Zed's flesh had ripped off and fallen onto the floor.
Mm-hmm.
As he transformed into Barazel. And then like there's another hole in the wall where the monster had like come out and attacked the clinic. And so like we just have like it looks like a battle took place in the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
We do see that like there's a blood stain in the like little one of the observation rooms where Zed takes his patients, and that's where Jeremiah was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know if that's made the news, but the body's not there. They've taken it out, obviously.
Yeah, and
but yeah,
I think it's a little like overly sterile feeling too, compared to what you might expect from like a Ground Zero. Like it's not super rubbly anymore. It's not super like dusty and broken because again the police have been here and like they did the whole thing here. And I think the groomer sort of like looks around and says, "Man, they really did a number on this place." She looks down at Ajax and says, "Is that okay? Is he all right? I haven't heard anything."
He starts to whine and then like sniff the ground and is like sniffing all around, and then like he perks up, his ears come up again a little bit, and he like runs across the street to Versus.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because that's where Zed and everybody went afterwards.
All right, yeah. So he runs into the door of Versus, and the audience probably has to double take because we look in and Versus doesn't look exactly the same. It is brighter inside. There is there's a sign out on the door actually, that we only catch the very, very bottom corner of, and we just see an IS Corp branded logo. And then Ajax is running in too quickly. And then we see just this, like, it's still the same bar, but it's been cleaned up. It was a little dark and dingy before, warm and kind of homey. But right now we see immediately, I think Ajax starts to like maybe get a little bit nervous because there are 2 IS Corp agents standing on the inside of the doors. And behind the bar, there is Dave Versus, who has a dour look on his face. And he looks towards the door as Ajax comes in and looks really confused, and sort of like calls you over. Hey, Ajax, what are you doing here? Come here, boy.
He starts whining and walks over.
Come here, boy. I got a treat for you. And he'll pull like a little treat out from behind the bar and gives it to him, and does some more scritches. Says, "You haven't seen Zed in a bit either. Then I think he wouldn't be out if he was around. What's going on, bud?"
Yeah. At the mention of the name, he starts whining and like.
Dave, are you talking to a dog?
Yes, I'm talking to a dog. Okay. This is a special dog.
Did you serve the dog a beer? Should I buy the dog a beer?
No.
Everybody, we need to buy the dog a beer.
No, we tried that already. All right. No. Zed is very careful about what Ajax eats. All right. He's a special
Zed's
dog. Yeah, it's Zed's dog.
Oh, well.
One of the Scorp agents be like, "I swear I left my gun here. It was the last place I saw
it." Oh boy.
So I want to ask: can Dave actually understand Ajax?
Oh my god!
Did Dave develop weird powers where he can just talk to animals?
If he did, this is the first he's hearing about it, and
maybe it's more not understand. Maybe it's more like just empathize with posture and gesture.
So here's the thing: Dave is a bartender, so I think he already has that like empathy thing down.
A great reader of people.
Yeah, I think it's not quite that he can like all of a sudden like read Ajax's mind or whatnot, but I think in canon he established some extrasensory like empathetic powers, so he can like read people's emotions really well, because he can already do that pretty well as a bartender, and I think it's going to extend a little bit to Ajax. So what is he going to pick up off of Ajax?
Oh hell, Dad can sit with me. It's not like there's any women here.
Hey.
Okay.
Be nice. It's all right. It's all right.
The only dog they let in this place.
Ooh. You hear
one.
Ajax growl when he's looking at the other 2 guys.
That's
at the IS Corp guys that are talking.
That's a good boy, Ajax. You know what's up. So yeah, what is Dave picking up from Ajax right now?
Like, he definitely like senses some kind of urgency and like worry from the dog, and like confused because Ajax can't find his master.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like every time the IS Corp guys talk, and like he knows they're talking about him, he growls at them.
Mm.
As if they might have had something to do with Dr. Zed's disappearance.
So Dave, if the dog is here, doesn't that mean that Zed's pretty like right around the corner? Did he come in with him? Did we miss him?
Normally I'd say yes, but I don't know. I haven't seen Zed since he went with y'all.
I think I'll go outside and take a hard look for Zed.
It's a good idea. You go outside. You take a hard look. I'll be here when you come back. I think he continues scritching Ajax and says very quietly, I'm not good with all this stuff. And you saw those guys. They're both holding.
Like stands up on his hind legs and puts his paws on Versus' shoulders and licks his face.
Oh man.
And just like stares him right in the eye. Help me.
I think Dave is gonna keep scritching him and says, I know, boy. We'll figure it out together. You can stay with me for a while. Okay. And that's where we're going to cut again. Again, the edges of the picture sort of fade out, and we see they digitize a little bit, and we see again Dan's dour face looking at security camera footage of this happening, and he's also watching this security camera footage of the IS Corp agent outside looking around, picking stuff up, looking for Zed. He sort of like clears the gun in his holster just to make sure, and like is looking around.
Definitely walks across the street and talks to the groomer.
Yeah, walks across the street, talks to the groomer. The groomer, we see the groomer just shrug, and the IS Corp agent keeps like looking around. And Dan's face becomes ever more frustrated, and maybe even going so far as to say he's beginning to look enraged. And I think we see just all of a sudden this like look in his eyes of anger, and we see like 100 different windows in front of him pop up of these different like IS Corp things, and just furiously scrolling through, gathering information and looking through stuff, and we see this like big wash of like binary and characters like go over his face as he's just reading hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of articles about IS Corp. And we will cut over to a graveyard. It is a normal Portland day, which is to say it's overcast and it's a little cold, a little breezy, definitely not pleasant weather. There is an open grave and a casket above it. There are a few dozen people around, not a lot. There is a priest near the front and a mortician, and there's a picture of a person, one of those big easel style portraits that we've come to associate with funerals and the like. But all in all, it seems like a small production. The casket's really, it's kind of, it definitely is not like one of the fancy ones. There's not a ton of people here. Some of the people are dressed really like not super formal. It's just like simple blacks and cheap clothing. But there are two people in the front that look less sad than the rest, and are more well dressed than the rest. A man and a woman standing next to each other, who just sort of look like annoyed. And The woman turns to the man and says, "Where is he?"
I don't know. No one's seen him in days.
I just don't understand. We did this for him. I saw this guy was his like friend or something, and I just don't understand. I don't know what's going on. I haven't heard from him in forever. I figured he'd come here.
Well, I've tried calling, dear, and he just won't answer our calls.
It's not like him to be this long. Well,
Hey, ma'am, the guy sitting next to you leans over. Would you have a quarter on you?
no, I'm sorry, I don't. I'm paying for this whole funeral, so I don't have much cash on me.
Oh, but I think you do. And he reaches behind your ear and pulls out a quarter.
You see her just like just the eye rolliest, most Karen look you could possibly have come across her face, and she just looks at him and says, "Look, I understand this is your thing, but this is a funeral, okay? Have some tact." And she sort of like turns like an eighth of a turn back towards the casket, and like very like dead face ignores him for a second.
Jeff taught me that trick.
Oh boy. I think there's just the hint of a blush on her cheeks, and says, "All right, yeah, he was a very important person to all of us." And she sort of like side eyes her husband.
Yeah, there's 4 people directly watching her.
My little boy, he was always around to help him out in a pinch. So, yeah, he was very important to all of us.
Who's your boy?
Steve. Yeah. Steve?
Who?
Oh, God, of course. Your lot might know him. I think it was like Tick the Majestic or something. I can't remember exactly.
It was Tick the Mystic.
It's Tyke. You're talking about Tyke?
Sure, yeah, Tyke. Yeah, I think Tyke. Tyke the something. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where is
His
he?
name was Steve?
Yes, his name is Steve. Thank you very much.
Well,
We all
okay.
just called him Tycho.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. He never did like his name.
I think at this point, the mortician says, "Now, in honor of the deceased wishes, we will play his favorite song." And he pulls out like a little speaker set with an iPod, and he begins to play "Fairy Tale of New York" by the Pogues.
What does that sound like?
I
Oh,
don't
we
have
can't
it
play the
pulled up,
audio.
and I also don't want to play it. Yeah, but some of the lines, it was Christmas Eve in the drunk tank, and an old man said to me, "Won't see another one." It's kind of like a sad Christmas song.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it talks about like raising hell in New York City, and it was Jeff's favorite song for funerals.
Yeah, the type of song that talks about being a drifter alone in the holidays when everybody has somebody. You are doing what you do basically every day, the sort of song that tells about a person who's been through hard things and doesn't really know how to deal with the world except in those hard things as well. And I think there's a moment during this song where we pass over the like makeshift podium that they have, and there's a piece of paper that has like what looks like a printed off speech, and it isn't fully, like, it seems to cut off partway through, and I think I think it is signed at the bottom, Tycho the Mystical, but I don't think it's finished. And I think it at some point, like partway through, it says something to the effect of, I'm rambling and this isn't going to take a while, or this isn't going to have to happen for a while, so I'm just going to finish this later. And I don't know why. I don't know why Jeff asked me to write this anyway. It seems silly. But there are a few kind words near the top of it. I want to know what has Tyke said. Obviously, we're putting words into Jacob's mouth, so like, that's one thing.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I agree with Steve. You say Steve Tycho. I agree with Tycho. Jeff was always there every night. After every gig, he'd take the time and spend it with his friends. We'd see him at the clubs. We'd see him at the restaurants and the coffee shacks.
Magician's bar down the road.
It's a matter of coffee or bourbon. Jeff was there. I see it as part of a greater
He was
whole.
always there with a smoke and a drink.
Yeah, it's tough being a magician in this town. Jeff was always very kind, and
he never asked me to write anything for him, so it seems Steve was important.
Of course he was. I mean, you guys remember he talked about Tyke so much. He was very proud of him. I'm sad he's not here. He wouldn't have wanted to miss this. And I think the priest starts saying the final words. I think we see this couple in the front, Tyke's parents, sort of like look uncomfortable, but they like also look a little taken aback. And the priest sort of like nods to another person to the side. One of the people that said was talking about who Jeff was, and this person raises a glass, pours a little bit of just some generic beer into it, and then pours it out onto the ground. You see a number of other people do the same thing.
Flask.
A flask. Yeah, there we go.
Pouring some non-copywritten beer onto the ground.
Yes, yeah. You see flasks open up and pouring non-copyright liquor and beer, wine onto the ground. Everybody sort of nods.
So it's a little quiet. It's a little quiet at that time.
Yeah.
So you'll hear in the background off to a corner. No, sir, there's nothing here. It's just family and friends. We haven't seen him at all yet.
And of course the camera turns a little bit from this beautiful moment to see this agent, this IS Corp agent, talking on their thing, and it fades again at the corners, at the edges, into this digital screen, and we just see Dan is in an absolute frenzy. I think he pulls up a window, and it is a terminal that is the what was the school again? I keep forgetting. I'm a dumb.
Garfield High School.
He pulls up a terminal, and it says at the top like Garfield High School internal database. And you see just like these rapid bits of code start to fly by. And then we're gonna cut back to the board meeting. And the IS Corp agent talking in the principal's ear, sort of like says, hold on a second, sir. And he pulls up one of those like IS Corp like HUD things on his wrist and looks and says, the paperwork to terminate Carl has been deleted off of the system. Also, I'm seeing here that he's actually tenured. I don't think you can remove him.
Don't fire him. He caught me with some dip and then didn't tell on me.
Now then, Carol, can we check records and make sure? And Bob, do you have that copy right there on the? Thanks. No, I got hard copy right here. It says That's what we were talking about. And we just printed this off like an hour ago.
No,
And he hands it to the agent.
Okay, the agent takes it and like flips through a couple of pages because it's like contract, and he says, and he pulls up and he says, "No, this line right here," and he points and it says something to the effect of tenured employees can't be terminated without like 6 months notice and a letter of recommendation. And he says, and he pulls
severance pay.
Yeah, and severance pay. And he says, "Look, I don't know how you screwed this up, but he's tenured here. He's got, I don't know, 25, 30 years of tenure. You can't get rid of him for something like this. It's
how do you get rid of? Just a moment, folks. I just got to deal with this fine gentleman from IS Corp. How do you deal with 25 years of tenure? He's only been here 12.
Your records are what's saying otherwise. Okay, look, I don't know if he had only been here 12, then yes, you could get rid of him. But
He knows we can still hear him, right?
I don't think they realized that they didn't mute their mics.
No, they can't hear me. I'm covering it with my hand.
I don't know. You're gonna have to sort this out because we've got to deal with him, and you're going to have to sort this out on your own. I'm sorry.
Okay, I can deal with it. As a matter of fact, it'll make it a lot easier for me. Just wait outside. Anyways, folks, I guess
Order,
I hear you.
please.
I
We'd
hear
like
your calls. Young men, you could just calm down. Fine. We'll deal with Carl later after we could talk with him. Maybe we won't fire him. Maybe we'll put him on a temporary suspended leave. We'll deal with it when we talk with Carl. Everybody just calm down. And matter of fact, we should probably just call this meeting to an adjournment and just try to deal with the situation at hand and figure out a time when we can get back to our normal operating school hours.
And I think the person who banged the gavel earlier says, motion to close meeting. Everybody, all the other board members, like raise their hand, say aye, and gavel clicks down and says meeting has adjourned. And I think the football team starts chanting, Carl for principal. Carl for principal. Carl for principal. And the like everything just goes a little bit chaotic, but the principal and the board and the IS Corp agent sort of shuffle out.
I see Jeffrey walking over to the football players with a smile. Jeffrey Scott, the soon retired teacher.
Yes. Yeah.
The football players are definitely like, they love him, but also they know he would absolutely hate this job.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's kind of a joke on him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. They're like, oh, like what can we do to also like show our support for Carl and also screw him over? Because he's really hard on us in practice or whatever. That kind of thing. Like he would hate this job. Let's do it. And so we fade.
I want to pan the camera for just a second.
Yeah.
Outside into the parking lot in a fire lane, and you see a tow truck driver. Ma'am, the Beamer is already on the lift.
On the truck.
It's on the truck.
Yeah.
I can't control it.
And Carol's just arguing, just trying to get it.
Button's right there.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we actually fade from the tow truck pulling the principal's car away. And we go back, and I want to know where Ajax is snuggled up in the bar right now.
He's in the corner booth, and he won't let anybody else sit in the fancy corner booth because that's where the guys sit.
Of course, yes. Ajax has claimed the corner booth, is just chilling there. I think we see Dave off in the corner, just again like polishing glasses, like looking at his iPad. And the IS Corp agents keep like going over to be like, dog's got the best seat in the house. Come on, get out of there. And Ajax is just like, and like bites them away. And I think,
I think a couple other regulars get defensive too, and they're like, "That's Zed's dog. You don't touch Zed's dog."
Yes, I love it. Yeah. That we've got the crazy drunk dude who we established the first time, who's just like, no, that's Zed's dog. Don't touch Zed's dog. He's dog.
Ajax is actually like chewing on the leather coaster that like
Pass around
yes,
Rhode
I
Island
love
coaster.
it. I love it. Oh, it's so good. And
that's when Dave would take the coaster from him and put down a bowl of water.
and Dave is just like watching all of this with a little bit of a smirk. And then a little notification pops up on his iPad. And it says, tell the IS Corp agents that there is a potential hostile outside. And he like looks at it. He's like, what? Who is this? And he notices it's like an UsTube notification, like from some anonymous user.
And it's definitely EYE pad.
Yeah, yes, EYE pad. Yes, yeah, it's got a big like I logo on the back. Yes, yeah. And he's like he like messages back like, who is this? And they said just trust me. Tell them there's one of those horrors outside, and show them this security footage. And there's like a link to a security camera. And so he clicks the security cam footage, and we see this image of kind of what we were looking at before from Dan's perspective of the view from outside the bar, but now there's a horror like trouncing around outside. And Dan like looks outside the window for just a second and like can see that there isn't one there, and he sort of like looks confused and looks at the security footage again, and is like shrugs and runs over to the IS Corp agents and like pretends to be like a little bit in a panic. He's like, guys, look at this. You have to go quick. There's one of those things out there.
There's one of what things where?
No, look,
is Zed here?
I don't know where Zed is, but this is my security footage from outside.
Fine. Oh, that's outside.
Lock and load.
That's outside the street. Thanks.
Yeah, and we just see the IS Corp agents like lock and load their gear, and they run outside. And I think they look relatively confused when they get around the corner. There's nothing there, but there's and they sort of like look around and they run back in the bar, and only the regulars are there. Both Ajax and Dave have gone, and we sort of like pan away out the back door, and we see Dan with the iPad under his arm, with Ajax on a leash, Ajax with the leather coaster in his mouth, and they are trotting along, and we just see like text on the iPad that says, get out and meet me here. I will help you find Zed. And then it sort of fades back to black.
What kind of targeted ads is he getting on it?
on the iPad?
Yeah.
His targeted ads are all going to be like plastic cutlery and glass serviceware.
Yeah, stuff like that. I kind of want to know. I'm not sure how to do this one, but I think maybe there's an after party for Jeff's funeral. And I think Tyke's parents aren't really there anymore. This is just like the people that actually like give a shit about Jeff. And there's like an after party in some either in like a rec room or like some like dive bar or something that they've performed at before. And I think like they're talking about stuff they're going through. They're telling stories about Jeff. I think right now they're like they're talking really like confusedly about like why Tyke missed the funeral. Like that's not like him. Like Jeff was his best bud. Like, you know, maybe something's wrong. Like stuff like that.
And why is there a guy in the corner still?
Oh yeah, I think one of them picks up like, wasn't that? There's that like, is Corp? That dude was at the funeral. Why is he here? What's going on? Like,
he's definitely not with us, and he's not part of Jeff's group.
Hey, bud, how'd you know Tycho?
I think he's like in the corner, just like finger to earpiece, just like totally ignoring them. That's so weird. I don't understand. Did he get mixed up?
It's an odd bunch.
I mean, that would explain why Steve wouldn't be here. Yeah.
Hey, does anybody know
trouble.
why? Does anybody know why Jeff wasn't buried in his jacket? He wore that to every show.
Wait, he wasn't in his jacket? I thought.
No,
That
the
was
rich
not
stiffs buried him in a suit.
That's
I didn't go up to look at him. I thought it was real weird they had an open casket, considering how he died.
Yeah, they cleaned him up good. It was a nice thing.
that was his lucky jacket, though. He would. There's no way. There's no way.
I mean, what I saw at the park, there probably wasn't much left of the jacket. A suit might have been a good idea.
And then I think one of them has their phone out, and there's a notification on the phone, and they sort of pick it up, and on it there is a picture of Tyke wearing Jeff's jacket during the IS Corp orientation.
That might explain. Here's Jeff's jacket.
Wait, what is?
Whoa, Tyke was
Wait.
wearing it.
Yeah, where is he?
Yeah, what's he doing there? He's like doing stuff. There's a guy with a gun in the background, and you guys can see.
That was just messaged to me, man. I don't know where it came from.
Who's that from?
He kind of looks like that guy in the corner.
It very specifically says unknown.
That's really weird. What's going on? I wonder if he's okay. And then
Maybe we should hit the streets and find him.
Yeah, let's. I can talk to some people. We can put out a thing. We can start talking to people, figure out where they are. What's going on with him. Maybe he's in trouble.
That boy is in trouble.
And then I think
That's true.
just to cap it off, they're another one of the other ones. They get also a notification from unknown on their phone, and it is a semi-redacted IS Corp document. You can basically just see the IS Corp branding, and it says something to the effect of arrest out for Steve Stevenson, aka Tycho the Mystical, Carl Nelson, Shane Goose Bailey, Liam Fitzsimmons, and Dr. What is your full name? Goodness gracious.
Zedekiah Belkin.
Zedekiah Belker and Dr. Zedekiah Belker. And I think it says terminate on site. And the person picks it up and points it to the rest of the people, and everybody just goes ashen faced, and I think almost immediately
they all look at the guy in the corner.
Yeah, they look at that guy in the corner who's still just sort of mumbling into the thing. And I think they get up and go. I think they immediately go into action. They stand up and they leave. You look like you want to say something.
I was thinking he was not paying attention, and then suddenly an ace of diamonds gets just jammed into the wall next to his head.
Yeah, and nobody's
so
in the
good.
room.
And they're all gone.
Yeah, nobody's in the room.
Oh, that's so good. Yes, all of a sudden, they just look at each other ashen-faced. They look over at him. They look back at each other. They nod. And then we cut to him talking in his thing. And then we just see this ace of diamonds appear in the wall. He looks really confused and looks over. And the booth is just empty where they were. Just their drinks sitting there. And they are totally gone. And I think at that point, that's where we're going to cut back to Dan in this space, in this big electronic empty space, and you can see he has a texting app with a number of other windows tagged off of it, and there's this redacted document that we just saw in the sent thing. There's this photo of Tyke in the sent thing. We see the terminal still open of Garfield High School, changing with all of the changes made to Carl's database information all up, and we see the messages to Dave and the doctored security footage. All of this are all in all these windows that we see, and we see he's just leaning back and sort of smirking, and he sort of nods and says, and closes all of those windows and pulls up some more security footage, where we see the boys are escaping in this smart car and driving out onto the 5.
The clown car.
Yeah, the clown car. They're driving out on the 5, and he sends a message. He pulls up like a messaging thing and sends it to Fitz. Right as they pull up off of the thing that says, Fitz, this is Dan. Tyke was right about everything. And then we see the boys walk into the woods, and we see Dan sort of click over a bunch of surveillance things. He can't seem to get an eye on them, and he says, "Where are you? What's going on? I want to help."
It's because Goose had previously removed all the security cameras.
Goose has gotten all of the
Dark
security out from where it was. So he can't get an eye on them. He says, "What's going on? Please respond. I want to help. And I've found others that will help also." And I think that's where we fade to black for this episode.
All right.
Huzzah, brother.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Thanks
Yeah.
everybody for being along for that really bizarre ride. That was a blast for me, at least. I know it's a short one, but boy, that was good. I enjoyed it. Just a little bit of world building stuff in there. Lots of good info, background on the guys, background on what's going on around us. Some really good foundational work for the evil corporation stuff on IS Corp, so that's cool. And thanks for coming, guys. Do y'all have anything to plug?
Just follow the Twitter, join us on the Discord chat. Both of those are just RPGs Anonymous.
Definitely a plug for Get Out and Vote, folks.
Yes.
Yes.
Seriously,
Get out and vote.
please.
We got some of the highest early voter turnout ever recorded in our country's history. Do
yeah.
it again.
We want to continue that.
At this point, there's like 6 million people had early voted, but
Yeah.
now like over 200 million have.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's
Yeah.
really, really beautiful to see, and we want to keep that momentum going forward. All of that. Thank you guys so much for watching. We should have Tyke back next week. Dan is gonna be a helper boy. And we're gonna see what's going on going forward. Join the Discord, join the Twitter, like we said, at RPGs Anonymous 1. rpgsanonymous.podiant.co for the RSS, and we'll see you in the multiverse.
Later, folks.